What's going on, everybody? This is Pokemon Master Bud here. It's going to be a review of our first Commander Cup of the month that I was able to actually pull off a victory. So look at my team. I chose Escavalier as my commander and then built kind of around there. A lot of the main staples kind of carrying over from the last couple cups being like Hypno and Lantern. Have Alolan Muck, Venusaur, and Haunter rounding everything out. Gonna go into round one versus Matt Attack 1996. A little bit similar with the Hypno and the Lantern, but he did choose his Shift Tree. So we gotta kind of watch out for that with Hypno and Lantern. But Scavalier and even Muck should be able to handle that very well. So this is not a really great lead. The counter damage starts to add up, plus those Mud Bombs are gonna hit. You can see how much damage I've taken just from counter alone. The Toxicroak does have to watch out for the Drill Run because it will basically one-shot it. I make a switch in here, trying to get a little bit ahead on energy. I get the shield. He doesn't want to take a Shadow Ball because that will basically one-shot the Haunter. I do notice he has a Purified Hypno here, though I didn't really think he was going to have return on it. So I did just take the Fire Punch, and then I'm not going to shield it again. I'm just going to try to get as much energy here as I can, and then fire off this dark pulse. I'm going to take out his Hypno, so we're even at shields. I expected the Toxicroak to come in, but it is the Shift Tree, and I'm going to be able to get off this Sludge Wave and kind of flip this match here. He is able to counter me down, and at a shield each. This is going to be really close. He has a little bit more energy than me. I'm going to be able to shield this Mud Bomb, and then hopefully I get to the Drill Run first, but I'm not able to, so just barely. I still needed a few more counters. He is able to take me out. So it looked positive there for a second, being able to take out that Shift Tree, but then it just kind of did not work out in my favor, getting countered down like that. So going into the second match, I didn't think he was going to lead the Hypno again. So I get this. This is fairly positive. I do have to shield. Lapras does not want to take Shadow Balls, really. Not much does. So you go for the Shadow Punch. I get the shield. I'm going to go ahead. I do not get to the second, or I do not make it to Shadow Ball before the Surf, which is unfortunate. But I'm going to save my shield. I'm going to come in, get ahead on energy here. I'm just going to go straight for the farm down and just have a ton of energy for whatever comes in next, which I'm expecting is the Hypno comes in, and I'm going to be able to go for this Drill Run, which hopefully pulls the shield, so I do get it, and then I swap immediately, and he thankfully doesn't have the Toxicroak in the back. He has the Alolan Ninetales, which will not appreciate this Sludge Wave at all. So I'm going to be able to go right for this Dark Pulse, and then I will actually have to go for, no, I think I just shield this just to be safe, and then I'm just going to go ahead and Snarl down. He had a lot of energy. If he would have hit me with a bigger move there, it would have been a little closer. And then there we go. So I still had a move stored, but you know, why be better safe than sorry. So tie the series back up. Got one more game. Go ahead and lead the Alolan Muck this time, thinking he might lead the Hypno again or the Shift Tree. So this is very positive for me. I resist all its moves, even though, as we see, Leaf Blade does do a pretty good chunk, just because Shift Tree has such high attack. I do one extra Snarl, which just to get a little bit extra energy, and then I'm going to go ahead and go for the Dark Pulse. So I get the shield, and then I actually have to shield now. It would have put me pretty low. And then go ahead and go for the sludge wave here, which as we saw is more than enough to take out the shift tree right here. And then in comes the Toxicroak, which is fine. Go ahead, confusion. So I guess go ahead and send this in, which didn't, after I led with the Alolan Muck, I really don't have like a very good like answer for Hypno in the back, unfortunately. So thankfully I get this shield there. I guess they were hoping I didn't Mega Horn them, because it would have done a lot of damage. Like get taken out there, and then I am able to land the Shadow Ball. Just because they use their energy right away, I'm able to get to this. And then I just have to confusion down this Toxicroak, and that'll be a GG. Unfortunately, I have to take that Sludge Bomb, but I'm going to go ahead and do this Fire Punch, and that'll be all she wrote. It's a very close game, very good game. Nicely played by Mad Attack. Going into round 2 against Great Lions. Again, he chose to have his commander with the Shift Tree. Similar team, but then he has the Beedrill and the Sudowoodo. Kind of spicy picks. Definitely haven't seen a Beedrill, and I've seen Sudowoodo lurking around, but this is, I think, one of the only teams I've seen it on that I've had to face. So I get the Lantern in the lead here with my Escav, which is good because I'm able to get to these drill runs a little bit quicker than they're going to get to the Thunderbolts, and the Sparks aren't doing quite as much damage as the counters are. And then he makes a great swap. Like, I was kind of expecting it, and he still was able to land it on me. So I let him I get a little bit of my energy back, and then I swap into my Muck to absorb the charge move, because I know it's not going to do too much. And then I overcharge a little bit, do a couple extra snarls, and go for the Dark Pulse. Just because I expect the Lantern probably to come back in here, unless he has the Beedrill or the Sudowoodo in the back. But out comes the Lantern. And go ahead and get off this Dark Pulse. He doesn't shield it, but he gets it, so that puts that Lantern really low. I'm just going to let it go. Muck's done its job. He actually lives, so it's not great because he gets an extra couple of counters. And he's able to get off another Thunderbolt here. I let that go. And then, thankfully, he has the Alolan Ninetales in the back. And it's not just a Shift Tree. This is a little more manageable. You see the Weather Ball doesn't do too much damage. And these Fire Punches are going to be super effective. Plus the confusion damage is going to just start to add up. So I'm going to go ahead and shield this one just to be safe. And then I'm going to go for this Fire Punch. I don't believe this is enough to take it out. I think I needed one more confusion. Yeah. And there we go. So we survive. Oh, no, wait. There's the Lantern was alive with 1 HP. And thankfully, I was paying attention. And it didn't have a move stored or anything. Survive game 1. Going into game 2. Lead the Hypno this time around. See if he changes anything up. And bad lead. And go ahead and swap into Muck here as more of a safe swap, and see if we can draw anything else out, or if he's just going to kind of stay in here. So he does have the Beedrill this time, which is kind of what I was hoping was in the lead. But he doesn't shield that, and it does a lot of damage. I am able to get to another Dark Pulse, but I lose to CMP, and I'm not going to use my shields on it. Just going to go ahead, confusion this down. I'm going to expect the Shift Tree to come right back in. I'm going to get off this Fire Punch. Get one shield. And at this point, I'm saying just end me so I can bring out Escab, but he goes for a bait. So I'm just going to save both shields for Scavalier at this point. I thought about switching, but it's probably better I didn't. Just let him use his energy, and then I'm just going to go to town. And for some reason, I lost count. I thought that might have been a foul play. So I definitely didn't need to shield that. And I get this Mega Horn off right before he gets to the Fire Punch. So I'm just going to have to shield here. And then finish countering it down. A little bit of lag. And then I think it's low enough. Okay, and then I'm able to get right to the Mega Horn to finish off the Shiftry. So good games, very nice, close. Been able to use that Muck as a safe swap to flip the bad lead. So going in this last game, I get a pretty good lead again with this my Escap going into the Alolan Ninetales. It's taking neutral counter damage, and the Steel typing at least resists the ice. And it doesn't really like taking those drill runs. And you can see its half is almost halfway. I take a Dazzling Gleam, which actually does quite a bit of damage I was not expecting. And then my opponent makes a great switch again to catch this drill run on his Hypno. But thankfully I do have a Alolan Muck here to counter his Hypno, get rid of my Discord notifications, and build up to actually I did one extra. 2 Dark Pulses here, so if he doesn't decide to shield, I have another one ready to go. And I didn't think a Weather Ball was going to take me out, and I do survive. So I go ahead and just go for the Dark Pulse. And it just barely doesn't take it out, which is fine, because then I can come in here with Hypno. 1 Confusion takes it out. Unfortunately, there's a Shiftry in the back, which really I do have a 2 shield advantage, but I shielded Leaf Blade right there, unfortunately. He is going to be able to get to his charge moves quicker and resist these confusions. So I do at least shield a foul play right there. And then he's going to have to take this Fire Punch, which is almost actually enough. And then I swap, and I am able to catch the Leaf Blade here. And 1, 2. And I am able to get to the Fire Punch just before he gets to one more charge move. Which really, I don't think a Leaf Blade would have taken me out, but it was very good games. He kept getting me on those Hypno swaps. Yeah, GG's. Moving on into round 3 against 2 Quails. Seeing the Commander as a Noctowl for the first time, and that Raichu, like normal Raichu, Kanto Raichu with the Cradilly, and then of course the standard kind of core there that we've seen, going right into a mirror, and noticing again with the purified Hypno, could possibly have return, but I do take the Shadow Ball, unfortunately. I'm gonna go ahead and go for my own Shadow Ball, see if he shields or lets it go, and he does shield, and I'm gonna switch immediately into my Muck. This is a familiar matchup if you did Sorcerer's Cup. I normally was in the opposite side of it though. This isn't that great of a matchup for Muck. It's pretty neutral, but these Sky attacks do a pretty good chunk. And I think I do pull a shield here for the... Oh no, he doesn't. Yeah, but just that owl is so thick. So he is I'm just gonna let it go and save my shields. I have the lantern. He does have his own. He brings the Hypno back out. So I am gonna let this go through here. And it is a fire punch, thankfully. And I'm gonna go for this Thunderbolt. He's hanging on to that last shield. I still have both of mine. I'm gonna be able to get to this second Thunderbolt. And then out comes the Muck. So not the greatest. A little bit of lag there. Does get to these dark pulses pretty quick. Thankfully I had a really good energy lead. He is out of shields now, and I can just two shield this, and I should be able to get to the Hydro Pump. And of course I have a potential sack swap if I really needed it. So I'm gonna go ahead and shield up this last dark pulse. And then it looked almost like I was about to click Thunderbolt. That would have been bad. But I'm able to comfortably take that out and take game one. Alright, so I'm going to move into game two, thinking he might lead that Noctowl this go around. I do get the Muck, which is just as good. You know, the Lantern's pretty thick, and he doesn't want to take too many Thunderbolts. Definitely doesn't want to take a Hydro Pump like we saw at the end of last game. He switches into his Raichu, and I make a mistake here. I really didn't want to send in Muck. I do get the shield, thankfully, but Muck can't really take wild charges, and I'm going to end up having to burn shields if I want to, you know, keep advantage here. So you see, I am already having to take this wild charge, which is not good, but he's double debuffed, and Hypno is super tanky, as we know, so I can take this first wild charge no problem, and I can just continue to farm down. Unfortunately, the Muck comes in again, and then he quick swaps right into his Hypno before I do any kind of damage. And we know he does have Fire Punch. I'm pretty low, though, unfortunately. So I'm not really going to get to even threaten the Hydro Pump. So he lets that go, knowing that his win is with the shield and the Muck. I probably could have confusioned him down there. I kind of threw hastily. But, I mean, I'm super low, and he has just way too much health on that Muck at this point. Even, you know, he shields it, which is fine, but yeah, there's really no point. He could have just snarled me down. So I'm just going to go ahead and seed that game, and we're going to move into game three. So it comes down to this one. I'm going to lead Scavalier, and I do catch his Raichu. So obviously I really can't take too many wild charges here, but he definitely can't take a Drill Run, and the counter damage is adding up. And just like in the previous round, I got a perfect swap here to land that Drill Run on the Hypno. I do get an extra Snarl there, so I have a pretty good farm on this Hypno as it is. I'm going to go ahead and build up to a second one, and then fire off the Dark Pulse. See if they want to shield or just let it go down, and they do let it go down. So I have a Dark Pulse stored. And I fire it right away, unfortunately, because he sends in his own Muck. And then he swaps into the Raichu, which was an interesting play. I guess he just wanted to get energy on his Muck for whenever the Escavalier, or potentially if he's thinking I have Hypno in the back, which I do. So he farms me down, and then I can send in my Hypno just to take this wild charge. And then I take Confusion down that Raichu, and I'm going to fire off this Fire Punch just for chip damage. I don't want him to be able to farm me down because I only have one shield at this point. And he is already, at this point, he does have 2 Dark Pulses. That counter doesn't really go through, unfortunately. But he's out of energy, and I can 2 Confusion down the Muck. So GG's, that was very close. Going into round 4 against Sinister Minister, a very similar team to ours. The main difference is Ghost. We have different ghosts, and I have Toxicroak, or he has Toxicroak, where I have Venusaur on my team. So this is a really bad lead. I immediately switch into my Scavalier, and he actually switched out, which tells me he doesn't have Fire Punch on it. And I get the first shield on this Toxicroak. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put my Haunter on this thing. I'm going to just farm it up a little bit. I don't want to have to use a shield or take a Mud Bomb. So he does let it go down. And he sends in his own Alolan Muck. So this isn't the best right now. But I am able to get to this Shadow Ball. And this thing just hurts that Alolan Muck. And he threw his energy, which is great for me. So now I've kind of wrestled a little bit of control back. So I have both of my shields. His Muck is almost done. I'm guessing he won't shield this. I kind of went too early. But he does end up shielding, which is still really great for me. And unfortunately, I do shield the Dark Pulse, so I was kind of hoping that was a Sludge Wave. But he switches in his Hypno, so I'm just going to farm up a bit. Save my shield. So he does end up having Thunder Punch. So we know now we know my Escavalier has a lot more play against his Hypno. So I do shield this. And then at this point, I'm kind of scared I accidentally just threw this game. I barely live. And then I get off the Dark Pulse. Good thing I don't have like a super high ranked Muck here with 0 attack. But yeah, GG's for game 1. I had the double Dark Pulse. All I had to do was throw the charge moves. So knowing that what we know now about his Hypno, we're going to go ahead and lead a Scavalier and see what happens here in game 2. We end up in another mirror here with both of our Escavs against each other. I beat him to this drill run. So at least if I wanted to invest both shields, it seems I would win CMP. I am taking more counter damage than him, unfortunately. So I get his second shield. I'm just going to go ahead and keep my shield advantage and bring in my Hypno. So I get a good farm here, and then his Muck comes in. So I'm going to do the same thing I did last time, where I'm going to bail, or I'm going to do a Shadow Ball and bail into... oh, he swapped, that's right. And then I'm actually able to get to another Shadow Ball, which is kind of crazy in itself, but oh man, that damage to his Hypno was insane. The attack on Haunter is kind of ridiculous. I do take the Sludge Wave here, which is unfortunate, but I'm not really worried at this point. I can Sludge here and Snarl down if I need to, but that is enough. So that was game 2, so I'll win this round. We'll go ahead and see what happens in the third game for this match. And lead my own Hypno. So I lead it into his Escavalier. So I have Fire Punch. So we know that I can win this, and he does swap into his Muck. A little slow just because I'm caught mid-animation. Go ahead and shield up the first Dark Pulse. Do a couple extra counters, and then go for the Drill Run. See if he wants to shield or not. He does. So he's already at his second Dark Pulse. I'm going to go ahead and let it through. God, it just does so much. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Drill Run here. He does decide to shield it. So he does flip the switch, but I do have shield advantage still. Go ahead. I don't want to really bring this out, or bring my Alolan Muck out. Keep it away from his Escavalier as long as I can. Go ahead and shield that Dark Pulse, but he's unfortunately able to get to another one somehow with 0 HP. He sends in his Escavalier. I'm going to go ahead and throw this Fire Punch. And then a quick swap, which maybe wasn't the smartest thing. I didn't realize he was out of move. I should have just let him take my Hypno down, probably, but I'm able to get in enough Snarls here for the Toxicroak. Oh, this was frustrating right here. I had the Shadow Ball, and I was just tapping. I had the Shadow Ball, at least could have hit him, or even Fire Punch would have killed it from that range. But yeah, GG's for that round. Alright, going into the fifth and final round against Derek24, we see he has a similar team to me, but with that Roserade and Alolan Ninetales filling out his team. So we both have similar thoughts here, going into the mirror match with the Hypnos. So he goes for that extra confusion, so that's not great. I do land Shadow Ball, so that's good. But since he got that extra confusion through, and he lands a Shadow Ball right here, he is going to beat me to the Fire Punch right here, which isn't super awesome. So keep even shields. I'm going to go ahead and just charge up a bunch of energy here. Going to let this go through. Fire Punch does a little bit. But I have almost 2 full Dark Pulses here. So he sends in his own Escavalier. I'm going to go ahead and go for this first Dark Pulse. With the Hypno gone, I assume the only real threat is going to be the Muck. We did see how much the Shadow Ball does if it goes unshielded. So I do a bunch of damage there, which is great. I'm going to go ahead and shield here and then threaten another Shadow Ball, basically. Just to see if I can get a shield from him. And hopefully he decides to throw a move, which he does. So that's great. He's going to not have quite as much energy as he would have. Unfortunately, I'm getting pretty low here, and I don't want to have to take another move. So he does go down. He keeps his shield. So it's looking great here. So I have 2 Dark Pulses and 1 shield. He has 1 shield. He should be at a Drill Run. Or he was really close at least. So I do land this last Dark Pulse to seal this first game. Very close. I think he was just trying to counter me down probably at that point. Alright, so going into the second game here. So I do get his Hypno, which we know it has Fire Punch from that first match, so not great. I tried to catch the move unsuccessfully, obviously. I'm going to go for this Dark Pulse, see if we get the shield or not. Doesn't shield the first one. I'm gonna go ahead and shield up this drill run, see if I can either pull a shield from him or, you know, keep or flip the switch advantage back into my favor. He does go ahead and shield it, and he does throw his move. So he's out of energy, and I'm going to go ahead and send back in Hypno and just confusion it down. I go ahead and throw the Fire Punch to do a little bit of chip damage. I probably should have just kept the energy. And he has his Hypno, so we're just, you know, right back into the opening. And I'm trying to double up on drill runs, or at least to be able to fake or bait with the drill run, but he's able to get to the move, the second Fire Punch before that. The Hypno just so strong in this cup. Doesn't have to shield, it doesn't really matter at this point. This was one of the probably most RPS feeling matches of the whole tournament. And he just kind of like lost the lead, lost the switch, everything. But it's alright, we're going to persevere. We're going to go into this final third round and try to lose immediately. This is probably one of the craziest matches. Have, like, you know, the best lead right here that I could have. And he switches, and I send in Muck for some reason. I don't know what I was thinking. So I go ahead and shield. He beat me to the drill run. So I do at least get his shield there. He doesn't want to give up this amazing advantage that he's been gifted. So I go ahead and send in my Hypno. I was a little worried right here. I wasn't counting. At this point, I just thought it was over. I wasn't counting. I thought that might have been a Mega Horn at the last second. Thankfully, it wasn't. He lets it go down. And in comes his Muck. I would have needed another confusion to get this Fire Punch off. I'm going to go ahead. I switch in. Oh, man. Thankfully, I had some energy. And he doesn't shield the Mega Horn. And this is just going to be farm for your life, Escavalier. Just get all the energy. So I shield the Fire Punch. 2, 3. So he's faints before getting off another move. And I think that last Snarl that went through gave him the Dark Pulse. But Escavalier wins CMP. So I'm able to get off this drill run, which is enough to KO the Muck and secure the victory, the 5-0 sweep, from making the biggest bonehead play, misclick of ever. So, battling back from a horrible mess up, I am able to win this tournament and almost push me to ace. But we'll see you guys next time.